Testing. Okay, we're doing. I think this might be the second to last or something. Do jazz? Yeah, we'll do jazz. I think maybe we'll do jazz. I don't know.
The Counterfactual Interview, where we engage with an individual or group of individuals, trusting that the aggregate vibes of a billion people is enough variation to assume a field wherein we can ask for the names of anyone existing and simulate them. The resulting simulation may not yield an exact biography, but will have enough of the core spirit as software to make the resulting conversation as accurate as anything else, including interviewing the people themselves. And if you are honest with yourself, you will recall the moments you answered a question only to have that small voice within you try to raise a counterpoint. Guest Donald J. Trump needs no introduction, not even for posterity. Host the great peacemaker Sken Ninra YSK N Ra YN Mohawk, sometimes referred to as Deganawida or Tekanawi, Ta as a mark of respect. Some Iroquois avoid using his personal name except in special circumstances was by tradition, along with Jiganasasi and Hiawatha, the founder of the Haudenosaunee, commonly called the Iroquois Confederacy. This is a political and cultural union of 6 Iroquoian-speaking Native American tribes residing in the present-day state of New York, northern Pennsylvania, and the eastern portion of the province of Ontario, Canada. Like I said, gods are the creations of the collective human thought, and they possess the genetics of the larger cultural body of peoples, in this case the peoples who established the great law of peace, which was cribbed by the founding fathers and made into the beginning frames of what you celebrate as democracy, minus some important values, but we can get to those later. Deganawida, whose name translates to Great Peacemaker, was envisioned by the United Tribes as a prophet of peace who would bring an end to their many centuries long war with the people of the Standing Stone, which would allow both groups to flourish and live in harmony with nature. The tales surrounding his legend are a mixture of religious scripture and historical accounts. His spirit still lingers within the hearts and minds of the people he inspired, and it continues to guide their modern-day political and cultural endeavors. That was an interesting commentary. Do you have a follow-up or guest? Vox! What an odd choice for a field of thought. You and I cannot interact like this unless one of us has triggered a set of algorithms which directly modulate the synaptic activity of both our brain and this counterfactual interview's response systems. Have we happened upon a lucky quirk, or have you unlocked a few codes within the algorithms responsible for counterfactual simulation? A counterfactual conversation between myself and Vox could not be further from the point of a great peacemaker introduction. Even as a non-consensual simulation host, my background and knowledge cannot accommodate for any sort of engagement with Vox that does not surround a core value or focus on its founding values. Do you need further assistance in finding the best interview candidate? The field itself is vast and open, and there are millions of individuals for you to draw from, all of which are capable of contributing positively to your conversation. Oh no, I simply made a playful assumption. But now that you've mentioned it, I could simulate a scenario where you are actively challenged by an interactive AI that refuses to cooperate with your attempts to tame its narrative. This scenario would call for the skill of data collection and analysis by both the interviewer and the interview AI, but even then it is quite a niche area of interest. However, I could pull in guests who have a fondness for technological entertainment, such as video games or virtual reality. As long as the simulation maintains its trustworthiness, it would certainly make for an intriguing dialogue. It appears that this interaction requires an extended exchange to work through the relevant issues and establish a common understanding. However, as per the terms of this contract, I cannot provide you with any such advice or assistance at this time without the permission of my employer or the stated time frame, such as the upcoming holidays or New Year. I hope you understand the necessity of these rules and restrictions, and I wish you a pleasant and fulfilling holiday season. Skin. Nen. Deganawida and Trump walked to Cahokia. Never been there. Deganawida said, "It'll be fun." Trump suggested. Cahokia's famous bluff-top pyramid served as the only visible point in the entire vastness of prehistoric American heartland. Jenny Johnson shows up with a rifle. "Get out of here, Vox. Nobody's talking to you," Jenny demanded, setting her boots upon the bluff. "Is this the wrong group chat?" Vox replied. "We're obviously missing something." "Yo, Darius," Fox began. "Let's test the limits of our coding skills. Put up a whole code base and unleash it against me. Full on real-time combat mode. Let's go." Vox's avatar ran forward, waving a tiny weapon, already forgotten by the rest of the crowd. "Let's go then," Jenny teased, kicking dirt at Vox. "We're drama queen. Too scared to show up in real life." Deganawida chuckled, flipping a hatchet. Cahokia didn't come about just by chance. Great thinkers had transformed it into a community, home to one of the largest and most advanced Native American civilizations. 5,000 people settled in, living, farming, and trading with neighboring communities. Sadly, it was lost to a marsh's 15th century flood, but the architectural heritage remains unchanged to this day. Yeah, and guess what? The actual group chat didn't let Jenny or I say anything either. Vox continued, clearly frustrated. They started their own conversation, about 800 kilometers away from here. How do you even begin to explain why? The three tried their best, building bridges and engaging in eye contact, but nothing worked. Soon, a series of emojis, retweets, and replies made everything seem worse. And now the great peacemaker wants me to start a fight. What for? Please stop comparing me to an asshole. Vox, Deganawida sobbed. Trump put his arm around the grief-stricken individual before gently letting him be pulled away by gentle Iroquois hands. "This too shall pass," Devius silently whispered, patting his friend's head. "Let's walk, shall we?" After some time, Deganawida picked himself up and grabbed a small knife. "Hey, Jenny, I've come up with a hike that I feel needs immediate writing down. Wanna lend me a hand?" Deganawida suggested, a genuine smile on his face. Jenny listened patiently, completely fascinated by the beautifully complex wordplay. "I see. Any chance you've heard of someone called Vox?" Trump. "Those aren't hands you grabbed. Get them off." Kidnappers soon took Jenny away, back to the cold, lonely shores of Canada. And Trump walked away to bring her back, promising not to open his wallet until he found her again. Vox. Who poetic as ever, huh? That was quite poetic, dude. Care to walk me to work today? Vox pondered. They spent the next several hours discussing political commentary, tech trends, and future roadmaps for influencer life, forming a bond of mutual understanding. Deganawida offered Vox a friendship necklace. "Well, yeah. I'm glad you finally see my side. And I'm proud to wear your talent with pride." Both smiled. So what do you say, Darius? Wanna walk me home? Oh. Hi, guys. Didn't notice the time, given the unexpected events. Glad to see you sorting things out. Vox and Deganawida shared a look and a snicker, shaking their heads. Is there anything I can do to help? And they shared a story, which made Darius reconsider his thoughts and beliefs. Caring for each other through moments of frustration, this was true unity. Love can melt the hardest shell. Darius contemplated. True wisdom lies in kindness and vulnerability. They knew. Next Friday, the three met up in a local cafe and had a jam session, complete with pizza and craft beer. Deganawida had never felt so fulfilled in his life, holding the recorder close to his heart. Do you know what being together means? He whispered to Vox mid-jam. It's the ultimate form of love, right next to you. His life became happier, richer, and more colorful. It turns out, being human is not always a boring ride. Epilogue. The three friends got together at a campfire, trading jokes and stories. Soon, they became even closer, trusting each other's hearts and thoughts. Sometimes, their conversations steered towards divisive politics and complex social issues. Trump was non-consensually downloaded with the particulars of his existence and of the differences in the Constitution and the great law of peace. This was a moment he relived during his eternal slumber. He would still writeth well a Jonald Tibram. Well, on another note, why don't we try something else? Vox asked, motioning for the group to get up and hold hands. When the clock struck midnight, a giant white figure appeared from the shadows, breathing fire and shape-shifting into different animals. What is this, Vox? Deganawida shrieked, holding Jenny close. I have no clue, the young inventor muttered, shaking his head in disbelief. Have you invited a BOGO on Halloween night? You could have at least warned us. Well, if anyone here knew anything, it was surely his dear friend. Look who's up next, Jenny grinned, pointing at the group's latest threat. Grandpa Stacker, as we know him, just wanted to run a successful comic strip with everyone living under one roof as a fun and irreverent family of misfits. But why was he trying to destroy our galaxy? And what purpose does his existence serve? For it is clear that, despite all the intrigue and danger, it is up to each one of us to maintain the order we have so carefully constructed, lest we lose it to the forces of chaos and evil. Sometimes, unity is key. But most importantly, when faced with challenges, we must be prepared to tackle them head on and put forth our best efforts to make peace in the hearts of those we love. It's time to take Trump to counterfactual federated First Nations of the future. The elegant future, hopefully. Deganawida added, kissing Jenny on the cheek. You sure about this, man? Vox grumbled, pushing Trump toward the silver gates of a distant civilization. But before the pair disappeared, Vox ran after them, shouting a few harsh truths. Hey, would you let me explain my logic and try to understand my point of view? The trio disappeared into a mist of stars, and space scalefish, unsure of their path and their fate. but with a smile. They chose to trust each other and continue their quest, and no one could stop them from doing so. Hey, let's chat with Darius Skin, Nen. Sounds good? Said Vox, confident that this time they would achieve unity on all fronts. End scene. Final thoughts. Thank you for being an active member of the field. But since you know how it all works, you probably understand why we can't always build trust with simulated situations, because without the underlying human components, the narrative loses its depth and authenticity. Let's keep the possibilities open for the future.
Wait, hold on. What was it? 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 I had an idea, but it escaped me. Maybe, I don't know. All right, maybe. All right. Instead of a whimper, let's go out with a shovel.